let's turn our attention to the co-main event. Mark Smither, undefeated 10-0, putting that undefeated record on the line, looking for a victory here tonight to perhaps set up some big fights this coming summer, but he's got a game opponent and a veteran in that in Jorge Rodriguez.
He does have a veteran Rodriguez who's well-traveled, but he's also a 41-year-old veteran.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our co-main event of the evening. 8 rounds or less in the super lightweight division. Please welcome to the arena first, fighting out of the blue corner, all the way from Argentina, he is Jorge El Pelado Rodriguez.
Jorge Rodriguez making his way to the ring. Record of 23-19-2. Experience is abundant with Jorge Rodriguez. 231 rounds spent in the ring over the course of his boxing career. I'm sure there's not much that he hasn't seen in the ring.
100%, but you know, at 41 years old, we're gonna see too how much left there is to offer, because he has been stopped 7 times and he is now in his 40s. So is he still that same credible veteran that gives up-and-comers like Smithers some real developmental tests, or is he damaged goods? Mark Smither is going to answer some of those questions tonight for us.
And a lot on the line for Mark Smither. I mean, it's a local fight, not a hometown fight from Barrie, Ontario, but close enough to his home city. 10-0 record, undefeated, and perhaps with visions of some big fights this coming summer. This is an important fight for his opponent at Mark Smither, so Jorge Rodriguez has to be ready.
100%, 100%.
And now introducing into the arena, proud Canadian fighting out of the red corner. Here is the undefeated, marvelous Mark Smither.
Marvelous Mark Smither, 10-0, the undefeated record, fighting out of Barrie, Ontario, and this a fighter with an almost cult-like following in his home area of Barrie, Ontario. They are proud of their undefeated fighter, and rightfully so. Now tonight, perhaps with a victory, can set himself up for some big-time fights this coming summer.
100%, and you know what? Mark Smither, and he's a likable kid. He's well known in his community, and he's scoring a first stoppage. If he can score a first, he's already achieved 2 milestones, like I said at the top of the broadcast, with his Canadian title and his first regional belt. Now, if he can score his first stoppage, that'll garner more and more of an argument to build him into a bigger hometown attraction back in his community. And that's something I think is on his mind tonight.
The highlight reels, the knockouts, the finishes, how much does that play into a fighter's mindset, a fighter's preparation, stepping into the win? Obviously, the ultimate goal is the victory, but how much does getting that finish factor into a preparation or a mindset in a fight like this?
It's undeniable it's in the back of his mind. It's undeniable. Every fighter thinks of that. You know, he can't prioritize just that be the focal point of his training, but there's no question it's in the back of his mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our co-main event of the evening, sanctioned for 8 rounds in the super lightweight division. All of this being brought to you by Tyler Buxton's United Boxing Promotions, live from the sold-out Pickering Casino Resort here in Pickering, Ontario, Canada. Your judges at ringside for this co-main event, Mr. Alan Davis, Mr. Jasper Kajavsky, and Mr. Jeremy Hayes. Your official, the third man inside the ring when the punches fly, the former Canadian and Commonwealth champion, Mr. Donovan Boucher. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he wears the green with the right, verde con blanco. He weighed in at 141 pounds even. This, tonight, his 45th fight as a professional. The former WBC lightweight Latino title challenger. De Rio Tercero, Córdoba, Argentina, presentando Jorge El Pelado Rodriguez. And now his opponent across the ring, he fights out of the red corner, and he wears the Canadian red. He weighed in at 142.8 pounds. His record as a professional, a perfect one. 10 fights, 10 victories. The fighting pride of Barrie, Ontario, Canada. Here is the reigning Canadian super lightweight champion, Mr. Marvelous Mark Smither. And now with your final instructions, the referee, Mr. Donovan Boucher.
Gentlemen, I'm expecting a good, clean fight. Listen to my command at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck to both of you.
Marvelous Mark Smither, Jorge Rodriguez getting set to tangle. Smither, the reigning Canadian super lightweight champion, and that's one way to get the crowd fired up, wearing the Canadian red and getting that announcement. How much extra juice is in the veins when you're fighting on your home soil in front of your Canadian fans?
There's no question. It gives you a little extra energy boost that you didn't know you had.
Smither, aggressor early, looking to take control of the ring. Patience yet poised is Smither.
Well, that is Mark Smither. That is Mark Smither. You know, we got some history. I refereed a good number of his amateur bouts, and we did some sparring, some work together last year in the gym, getting each other ready and sharing some rounds. And he's definitely a natural counterpuncher at heart with consummate boxing skills. So sometimes, how do you throw a counterpuncher off and force him to initiate? So that could be the first trick up Rodriguez's sleeve tonight, forcing the counterpuncher to come to him. He's trying to employ some movement.
And don't mistake patience for passiveness. Patience with purpose.
Yes.
Rodriguez, though, does a nice job of throwing a few punches of his own to get some space to circle away. Smither, though, not giving him much room to breathe. Closes the gap quickly, left to the body.
Well, he's closing the gap. He's closing that gap quickly, but intelligently. You know, he's working behind his jab, and he's not over-committing and like lunging in where he could be open to run into shots. You know, he's trying to stalk him methodically. But I think it's very, it's crafty what Rodriguez is trying to do. I think he knows he's outgunned and a little outskilled. So he's trying to do things that can. I said he's awkward. He's trying to frustrate Mark and do things unconventionally and get him frustrated, forcing him to make a mistake and capitalize. I think that seems to be the game plan for Rodriguez in this first round.
And that awkward style, that can perhaps lead to frustration over the course of a few rounds as well. So many rounds spent in the gym sparring, perhaps not seeing a style like this. How tough is it to find someone that can perhaps mimic a style of Jorge Rodriguez?
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes it is hard to prepare for a style like this. Sometimes you just can't. And you got to just adjust on the fly while you're in there. And sometimes, too, I've always said before, my years training in the gym, sometimes it's harder to spar a beginner than it is a conventional guy who's at your skill level, because he's awkward, they got no timing, they have no rhythm. It can really throw off a conventional guy.
Gotta watch the heads there. As ducking out of the way was Rodriguez. Bit of a clash of heads as Rodriguez raised back up.
You know, and I am curious because I'm wondering if I see a little nick on Mark Smither's left eyebrow from that clash of heads. I don't know if he drew blood or not, but I thought I saw a nick, unless there's just a really thick eyebrow.
Well, Smither certainly the aggressor.
He's got a cut. He's cut.
You're absolutely right. Great eyes there by you, Tony. And that would be from the clash of heads. Well, seems to be in an okay spot. It's off to the side, and it's not a huge gash. It's just a small cut.
Right. And Mark Smither's showing good poise, got his poker face on, he's handling it well. So when we talked about milestones tonight, we were thinking, could he score his first stoppage? That's a new milestone tonight. Maybe the milestone he's getting tonight was dealing with adversity and working through his first cut, getting to see his own blood.
Yeah, 8-round fight in first round, a clash of heads.
Yeah.
Maintaining that composure, and that's probably what they're talking about right now in the corner. 60 seconds is up, and we'll get back underway here in round number 2. Quick work by the cut man in the corner. Not a huge gash to try to stop the bleeding from, and it seems to be just fine. Something we'll keep an eye on, though, especially if this drifts into the later rounds of this fight. So what is it about the style, the awkwardness of Rodriguez that can pose challenges here to Smither?
It's hard to fight a guy who doesn't want to fight, you know, and he's an awkward movement, takes, you know, side steps, he moves where you don't think a guy would move at that time. The timing is off, and he's fighting to survive. It's hard to fight a guy who's trying, it's hard to stop a guy who's fighting to survive and not fighting to win, because he's not going to present as many openings. Then when he does do these attacks, they're very much like a bull rush. And they're just turkey-jerky. It's hard to put into words the difficulty of a wily veteran like Rodriguez poses for a guy like Smither.
Keep an eye on the frustration level too, if that can mount. That adds up over the course of 8 rounds.
Well, I think one way Mark Smither can battle this and overcome some of this awkwardness is look, the legs are moving, the head's moving, but the body doesn't move. You know, so start throwing more belly jabs like he just did. The belly, the chest, the arms. Just touch that body and the head will open up. Start doing things like that, touch that body, that'll take away some of the movement. And then the openings will present itself.
Smither with a pawing left hand pushes the head back of Rodriguez.
We just heard someone from the crowd say, touch that body, Mark. They must have heard me.
And he does just that yet again.
Yes. And what I like to see more from Mark too, as this fight progresses, is he's got a good jab, double up on it. Sometimes 2 or 3 jabs is harder to time than one single jab. You know, throw 2 or 3 jabs, even if they don't have to land. They don't have to land, but it's something to blind a guy. You know, something shine in his face, blind him quick, and then it'll be easier to touch that body. Come with 2 or 3 jabs quick, and then go downstairs and pound those flanks.
Yeah, we have a cut over the left eye there of Rodriguez. We're gonna get time called here.
Well, again, a guy like Rodriguez, the way he's been rushing in too, this also happens, you know. These accidental headbutts happen with a guy like Rodriguez lunging in, bull rushing, just running in when he throws punches.
Yep.
This is what we get.
So 2 clashes of heads and 2 cuts. One for each fighter over the left eye. That one, though, to Rodriguez seemed to do a little more damage, certainly more blood right away.
Well, and, you know, that's karma too. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Final 20 seconds of round number 2. Smither trying to crack the code that is Jorge Rodriguez.
So one adjustment I would like to see Smither make, though, going forward with this fight is when Rodriguez does decide that he wants to go on the attack and commit to a combination, I would like to see Mark kind of, he pulls back. He pulls back and pulls out straight, and he's vulnerable there with his head up in the air. Kind of panics a little bit, and he's closing his eyes. I'd like to see him, sometimes you're safer closer than you are going away. Don't try to outrun the punch.
Right.
Don't outrun the punch. Move in tight, get close, bury your head in the guy's chest when the guy's trying to lunge in. Meet him halfway and take him head on, smother him. What it does is you smother his offense.
Don't allow him that distance to get that full velocity shot off.
Exactly, 100. Man, did you box before?
No.
Because you're finishing my sentences tonight, buddy.
No, not at all. But there you see the cut opening up. And we saw it in the first round. Mark Smither get a bit of a nick, more of a nick than a cut. And that's a legit cut over the eye of Jorge Rodriguez. Yep. 1 clash of heads in the first, 1 clash of heads in the second.
Well, listen, it's not just the fighters earning the money tonight. Cutmen are earning the money too.
That's it. Smither quick off the stool and ready to go. A little animosity at the bell at round number 2 as well, as not sure if a shot or 2 after the bell and a little bit of pushing and separation.
How would you feel if I hit you with my head twice? Exactly. Not once, but twice in a matter of 6 minutes.
That's it. Well, we're
nice
here.
Right hand.
We're here for animosity. Make no mistake.
I've always said it's okay to fight angry if you can control that anger. If you can channel it properly, it can make you better. It did for me in my career.
And that's a fine line to walk, and it can be the
Yes.
difference between a good fighter and a great fighter.
100%.
Now Rodriguez calling on.
I'm really starting to wonder if you box now, Shane.
Not at
I
all.
think you're hiding something from
Look
me.
out
Oh,
through the
oh,
ropes
oh.
and comes back in.
But this is what I'm talking about. I don't like how Mike.
Wow.
I don't like it. Things are heating up, boys.
Things are heating up, and this crowd is feeling it.
But I don't like how.
You think this isn't good for Mark?
Well, I don't. His head falls to the ropes like that is because of what I was saying earlier. The way he's backing up, panicking a bit. Whenever Rodriguez does come forward with his attacks, he's better off meeting him halfway. Take the train on, and just keep your head down, chin down, shell up, and get on the guy's chest. Smother his offense. Don't back up and give this guy momentum to drive forward and bully around like that.
Interesting to see what in the first 2 rounds was a passive Jorge Rodriguez. Now perhaps the sight of his own blood has lit a fire within him.
Right, and you know, everybody responds differently, right? Some guys see their blood and they shut down. Others, it just fires them up.
A little dirty boxing in the clinch here.
Well, so far Rodriguez is coming as advertised. He's awkward, he's unconventional, he's also dirty. We didn't get that in the memo, but he's doing everything he can to throw off the prospect Smither. And he's trying to remove the skill gap out of the equation and make this a street fight. And
Nice feint. Nice feint there by Smither to open up the laneway for the left.
you know, what Rodriguez is doing tonight, it might not be enough to win, but it's enough to keep him in this fight and make Smither underperform if he can't make the adjustments.
It's just round 3 of 8, so a lot of runway left in this fight, and that looked to be a stumble. Touch of gloves here.
Could have been some water or sweat there in the ring, maybe.
Wasn't sure if a step on the foot as well.
Well, again, I think Smither's got to find a way to be a little more physical and forceful without giving up his balance and falling in. Because when he's falling in, he's on a balance, he's on a position to punch.
We talked about the cut man going to work between rounds 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. Well, hope he's ready for round number 4, because this cut on Rodriguez's left eye is starting to leak at a more rapid rate. Final 10 seconds of round number 3.
You know it is, but this blood could be deceiving, because arguably this could be the first round of the fight where you could say Rodriguez might have stolen. I won't say won it, but you could argue he might have stole that round from Smither. You know, so Smither, this is a good developmental test for Smither tonight, because it's a battle of dealing with a wily, dirty guy in front of you who's doing things you don't want to do, throw you off your game, that you may not have been able to prepare for in the gym, but also a battle of controlling your emotions, not letting your emotions control you.
Let's take a look at some highlights, and things got heated in that 3rd round. We saw a little bit more of animosity than we saw in the first 2 rounds, and that perhaps the highlight or the point that jumps out in that round was Smither getting that head stuck through the top and 2nd rope.
Well, and Rodriguez is showing his experience. He got every trick in the book, because he's in that replay. When he backed Smither up against the ropes, he had his gloves holding right onto the ropes too. The referee missed that. We missed that live. No, they caught that in the replay, but can't do that.
4th round of 8, super lightweight bout. Canadian super lightweight champion Marvelous Mark Smither, non-title bout against the Argentine and Jorge Rodriguez. Nice body shot there. In tight is short rights, or pardon me, short lefts from Rodriguez.
You know, Smither is Canadian super lightweight champion, but he's looking to, go on that path where he could be a world title contender and look beyond his native country. But to do that, he's got to be able to solve puzzles like this and get past guys like Rodriguez, and as he moves along his journey. And right now Rodriguez is throwing him off his focus a little bit. He's got him out of his element.
Smither continuing to stalk. Rodriguez backs himself into the corner, clinches up.
But right now, Smither's the aggressor, but unlike the first couple of rounds, he's not the effective aggressor now. It's not effective aggression. He got away from his body attack. He's rushing in now, 1 or 2 jabs at a time, and then falls into clinches. He's got to keep double, triple up on that jab. Don't be so quick to rush in. Use your reach and set up punches from long range. Even if you're backing him up, you can shoot straight shots to the body from long range. He's got the reach to do so.
Saw some frustration on the face there of Mark Smither on the latest clinch, the latest tie-up. Something to maybe keep an eye on to see if the frustration mounts. We talked about the frustrating style of Rodriguez, and does more of a clinch game here in the 4th round. Maybe start to add to that frustration level for Smither.
Again, and it's the type of strategy where it might not always win you rounds, but it does make the other guy look bad, even if he is still winning on points. You know, it's not that a guy like Rodriguez, that could be his goal tonight. Maybe he doesn't think he's got enough athleticism and youth on his side to actually pull it a win. But if he can make the guy look bad and be competitive, you know what? He'll get calls and future opportunities to keep taking these fights.
Well, and it's only round 4 of 8. Long way to go. Keep putting it on.
See, right there, though, Smither, he's got to take a step back with that back foot, a little bump and a half step, a bump with that front shoulder, and half step back with that back foot to create room to punch whenever he falls into those clinches. And that'll be one way to nullify the clutching and holding of Rodriguez.
More of an in and out approach. Get in, get your job done, and get back out ready for the next one.
Exactly, and do that bump with that shoulder, and use your elbows and forearms to manipulate those arms inside. Maneuver the other guy's arms so he can't hold you. There you go. Glove up tight. It's a tough fight for Smither tonight. This is an even fight so far on my scorecard.
Halfway through, 4 of 8 rounds have been completed.
The question now going forward, though, as we're reaching the halfway point is, you know, we've got 6 more rounds to go. Is at 41, can Rodriguez keep up this pace and maintain the output he's putting out, you know, for 6 more rounds? At 40. So far, he's shown age is just a number.
That's right. Could the clinch work in the 3rd round perhaps be him trying to prepare himself for this long 8-round runway and getting those breathers mixed into the action?
It does. You know, it is a breather, but at the same time, if you got the other guy who doesn't want to be in that clinch, forcing and trying to fight his way out, well, that's still resistance against your body. It becomes a pushing and shoveling wrestling match inside. It's still
safe to say there's more energy expended in a clinch than it may appear.
Exactly.
Right. Second half of this 8-round super lightweight bout. Marvelous Mark Smither from Barrie, Ontario, taking on Jorge Rodriguez. An interesting fight.
See, right there, though, he's got it measured and lined them up. Double up on the jab and change levels. Head, body, head. Mix up your attacks. Don't try to throw the same combination every time. Just try to do the same thing. Mix it up. Vary up your attack. Give the guy some different looks. Tried there with a lead hook, but follow up off that. It's okay. You missed with one shot. Follow up with another. We got 2 hands. Right there, jab, jab, body. Go to that body.
Catches the head movement there of Rodriguez, who tries to fire back. There's some of the in and out you were talking about as well.
In and out.
Tony.
I want to see in and out and then back in again. He's off to a good start this round. He's build off. Oh, is that? I think I see a cut. Was it always on the right side, that blood on Rodriguez's face?
Well, I think he might have matching ones on each side now.
Oh, interesting. Well, Smither has changed he has made some small adjustments here. The energy has changed a little bit in this round. I mean, I'm seeing a little bit more wear and tear from Rodriguez in this round as Smither lands a hard right hook to the flanks there.
Working the body even while in the clinch.
Yeah.
Trying to deplete that energy with every single shot.
Well, and it's working because I'm looking at the eyes right now. And the eyes don't lie of Rodriguez, and he's not liking those body shots. And he is feeling the pace. And it could finally be proving me right, showing his age for the first time in this fight.
Smither's done a great job here in this 5th round of reading the head movement of Rodriguez, recognizing the level changes that Rodriguez is going to present to him and adjusting his strikes.
Again, he must be hearing me. I'm talking too loud. The promoter's going to say I can't be cheering on the fighters on the broadcast.
No extra coaching. No extra coaching. Cornermen only. Crowd starting to rise to their feet.
Well, they're feeling the change of momentum here in this round. They know there's been a turning point at the halfway point.
And we're going to get a check here on this cut.
It's either a cut or we got to lose. Oh, it's the cut. They're checking on the cut.
Doctor's coming up. Take a look at this cut over the right eye. We'll circle back to some of the work there of Smither, and there's the head movement, and that might be what opened him up right there. Nothing there as of yet on the right eye, and that was the clash of heads, actually. That was the clash of heads right there. So it's a bout that's been full of head clashes.
A little bit of everything.
Leaking from both fighters. And Rodriguez is wearing the worst of it. Smither immediately closes the distance. Oh, cracks him with a left there. And Rodriguez now trying to fire things up. Final 5 seconds of this 5th round.
Trying to steal the round.
Oh, a push after the bell. A push after the bell. What do you make of that? Is that frustration, or is that a veteran trying to get into the head of his opponent?
It could be, but I think it's a psych job. I think it's a psych job. I think he knows he's a little outclassed and he's outgunned, so he's trying to do everything he can to get under the younger guy's skin.
No reaction at all from Mark Smither, and that has to be a good thing as well.
100%. It has to be a good thing, and there's 2 ways to go about it. Either no reaction, or you know what I did in my time was no reaction, but then when we get back in the exchange again, I do it back to you twice as hard.
That's it.
On the opposite side of the ref.
That's it. Long memory. Long memory. Saw a smirk from Smither, but nothing more. He has...
Listen, man, at the end of the day, this is a fight. We're in a fight. You get to a certain point in a fight where, you know, the gloves are on, but figuratively they're off.
That's right. Cornermen being instructed to get out. Whistle had gone. It's time to go here.
Rodriguez was slow to get up off that stool.
Off the stool.
Coming into this 6th round.
Round 6 of 8, and see if Smither maybe tries to up the pace here, recognizing that through rounds 4 and 5, a noticeable decline in pace from Rodriguez.
Another small adjustment I saw he made there. First time all night. Let's see if he can do it again. In the earlier exchange, one way he got out of the clinch, he had his elbows and forearms up against Rodriguez's head to keep himself from getting grabbed and clinched. It's a good way to control the guy's head and keep yourself from getting tied up. Use your forearms to maneuver the guy's head and body. He's trying to do it again.
Nice jab by Smither before this clinch, snapping the head back at Rodriguez.
Well, again, if I'm Smither, you know, you don't need to be so quick to rush in and give up your reach. But keep them at the end of your jab. The end of your jab and the right hand, and the hooks will come.
Oh, and this is a cut.
Another one.
That's a big cut.
Oh, man.
Left eye now. Smither with a bit of a death stare over to Rodriguez,
man.
And this is a leaking one. This is a gash. We've seen nicks, we've seen cuts. This is a big one.
And this is critical for Smither. You know, he's on his way. He's blood all over Rodriguez right now. But with Smither too, this cut, I am going to say, it's unfortunate because, look, he's on his way to a victory tonight, a tough, competitive fight. But sometimes cuts like this, he's looking towards coming back in the ring in the summer, but it all depends on how this cut heals after the fight. It's going to take some serious post-rehab treatment if he wants to come back in the summer.
Doctor says we're good to go, and that gets a cheer from the crowd.
And there is blood all over
Rodriguez's
face right now.
Just painted in blood.
I know that appearance isn't always everything.
Oh, nice left there.
Best punch of the fight.
Best punch of the fight. See what kind of reaction it gets from Rodriguez. Does his urgency see an uptick now? Safe to say, Smither smells blood. If those gloves weren't red before stepping into this fight, they certainly would be now.
But I'm with Smither right now. I know we see the blood, but get to that body. Get to that body. Don't don't get bloodthirsty. Get to that body, that head will open up. And look, Smither's a good body puncher. I haven't seen, he does have a good left hook to the liver that he shovels in like a knife. I haven't seen it yet tonight. I would like to see it. It could make his life easier in this fight.
Like the urgency from Smither as well. Every time there's a break, there's no more than 1 or 2 seconds before he's closed that distance, closed that gap, and put the pressure back onto Rodriguez.
Well, there's no question. I know for a fact, through hands-on experience, Mark Smither is always well-conditioned and well-prepared, and takes his craft seriously and trains diligently in the gym. So
Yeah.
I have no question about his conditioning.
We haven't mentioned gas tank once with Mark Smither, and
No.
I think it's for obvious reasons. I mean, the pace can be kept at this high level through all 8 rounds.
And it's not just conditioning, but it's also his character. Listen, he's faced a lot of adversity tonight, and his character hasn't cracked one bit. He's still very much laser-like focused. And the things I'm seeing that I could nitpick and be critical of in Smither has nothing to do with his character or his mental. It's just technical stuff that can be sharpened up and worked on in the gym.
Right. Things that can be fixed.
And here in this replay, though, I love what I saw there. Smither took his head out on the outside of his opponent's shoulder, land that right hand, then he followed up with the left hand. When you follow up with that left hand, that front hand, it puts you back on balance.
Interesting fight for Smither. There's been a variety of challenges in this fight. We started with talking about the awkward style of Jorge Rodriguez. From there you go to the clashes of heads. From there you go to a bit of animosity, some after the bell type things. There's been a variety of challenges for Mark Smither. I think he's done a good job keeping a level head throughout this fight and keeping his eyes on the prize, and that's the victory.
100%. You know, there are some things that I think he needs to tighten up on in his game. You know, when he's dealing with resistance like this, but with the same token, the way he's responding to the adversity, and like I said, his character and his approach going forward, there's no question in my mind that he's a championship level heart as he's developing in his career.
High character fighter, and certain instances in this fight will only add to that. Smither once again backs Rodriguez into a corner. Rodriguez ducks his head down, getting a warning from the referee about hugging. Nice exchange there. Rodriguez maybe finding a home for a right hand.
Smither doing a good thing by making it a point to continue attacking that body in this round. Look, sometimes when you're facing a guy like Rodriguez, there's an old saying in boxing, win, look good next time. And that could be the case here tonight. Like it's not going to be pretty, but Smither's doing what he has to do to solve the puzzle in front of him tonight, and can only learn and again get better from a fight like this.
Yeah, the records don't have pictures, right? Wins and losses.
This could do a lot more for him developmentally than if he would have scored an early knockout.
3 steps in to separate. Smither once again closes the gap in a heartbeat. Keeping the pace, keeping the pressure. Not giving Rodriguez much room to breathe. Always forward motion from Smither in this fight. It's something we've seen consistently through all 7 rounds.
And I want to see him continue to stalk and come forward. He just doesn't have to come in so close. I like to see him moving forward. When he watches the tape in this fight, he can stalk from a little bit more of a distance and just work that jab over time to set up that long right hand, and then everything else will open up from there. And I'm just wondering if it's something I'd like to see. If I had a chance, if I was a fly on the wall, I'd like to know if he feels like that opening just wasn't there for that liver shot tonight. But he seems to have, when he's gone to the body, he's favored that right hook, and I haven't seen the left hook too much tonight. But predominantly in previous fights, there was a mean, nasty hook to that liver from the left side, and I haven't seen it yet tonight.
Approaching the final seconds of round 7. Careful on the heads there once again as these two men come in with force. Seem to escape that one without any damage to both fighters. Final 10 seconds of round number 7. Rodriguez maybe opening up a little bit.
Well, Rodriguez showing his veteran tactics here, because notice the last 10 seconds of every round is where he shows a spurt of aggression. He tries to leave a final pressure on the judges. We call that stealing the round.
Is the final 10 seconds enough to sway the judges? It really is not, right? And we've seen on the back too much on the back foot for Rodriguez.
Yes.
And I think we have to give Smither credit for that as well. Yes, styles make fights, and Rodriguez backpedaling into the ropes, but Smither has not taken his foot off the gas pedal at all, not one time here tonight through 7 of 8 rounds.
No foot off the gas. He's continuing, as we're seeing here in the replay, being the first to initiate exchanges, the last to land in most exchanges. Looking to attack the body, carrying the fight, dictated the pace, coming forward. It's not pretty. It's been ugly and foul-filled at times, but there's no question that the man who's in control entering this last round is Marvelous Mark.
This is the final round of the co-main event.
8th and final round. Mark Smither, Jorge Rodriguez. A fight that has had so many ebbs and flows. But one thing that has remained consistent has been the pressure and the pace of Marvelous Mark Smither, looking to add to his undefeated 10-0 record. Under 3 minutes to go in this round, or in this fight.
One thing Rodriguez has been able to do to reduce some of the punishment he's been taking tonight is when he finds himself on the ropes, he'll start doing the erratic upper body movement and shoulder and head feints. And it's been working. It's been working on the younger Mark, where he gets Mark to stop and pause for a minute and look at the picture. And while he's looking and staring and posing, Rodriguez is buying himself time where he can either sneak a shot in or he gets a breather and as time passes by.
And oftentimes it leads to a clinch or a grab it up.
It leads to a clinch and a grab,
well.
and it takes away openings, punching opportunities for Smither that he could have capitalized on.
And as those add up over time as well, you think each and every time we've seen the clinch, it's been a very repetitive type style of fight, and if Rodriguez can limit those opportunities, it's taken away a lot of chances for Smither to inflict the damage that he's looking to do.
And you know, but now that he's in the corner, he's doing it, there's that head movement, there's that head movement dipping. When he does that, that's what Smither's got to do. It's a bluff. It's a bluff. Attack the body doesn't move. When he starts doing that hyper head movement like that and getting Mark to stop and think, don't think, go to that body and flurry and combinations. Call the bluff. Like that. And more.
Final half of the final round of this 8-round super lightweight bout. Smither now making Rodriguez pay for the clinch work. Want to come and clinch? Okay, here's a few to think about for the next time.
Those are the shots that make you pee blood in the morning.
Final minute, round number 8. Mark Smither looking to push his undefeated record to 11-0. Seemingly has done enough so far through the fight. Has been the aggressor, has done the most damage. And has been the one to push the pace in this contest.
Oh, there's finally that hook to the body. First time he's throwing a left hook to the body that I've seen.
Final 30 seconds now. Duck and grab from Rodriguez. Smither looking to separate, but as he moves backwards, Rodriguez keeps engaged with the clinch, with the hold.
Well, again, this is a good experience for Mark. Again, there's things he can do to avoid falling into those clinches. And part of it is not having to rush in and stalk in so aggressively. Be aggressive, but not slow it down a little bit and maintain some range on your way in. It was a good learning fight for Mark, though. No question, he's got the W. His hand should be raised. He should be the rightful victor tonight. But he's got some things to work on. He's got to go back to the drawing board when he gets home and he has time to review the tape.
And this will be a tape that has a lot for him to pull from. An 8-round fight, but there are many different elements, many different factors in this fight. This was a fight that had a lot of different type of challenges for Mark Smither, and he seemed to overcome all of them.
100%, because the Smither, he has yet to score a stoppage, but he still has been dominant in most of his victories so far up to this point. So he's been the distance, but usually where he's having his way in posting shutouts. Tonight it'll be wide on the scorecards, but he had to work hard and earn every inch of every round to get the W tonight that he hasn't had to do yet. So that is a milestone. It's still a milestone in itself. He didn't score the stoppage. It's another distance win. but a milestone in the sense that it wasn't the kind of dominant victory where he was always in full control and having things go his way. He had to respond to adversity, saw his blood for the first time, and he had to work on himself some puzzles there to get the round.
Let's go to the ring for the
Ladies
decision.
and gentlemen, after an entertaining, bloody 8-round bout, we go to the judges' scorecards. But first, let's hear it for both these warriors. Mark Smither, Jorge Rodriguez. And we head now to the scorecards where Jeremy Hayes has it 80-72, Alan Davis has it 79-73, and Jasper Kujavsky has it 78-74. All in favor of your winner by unanimous decision, and still undefeated, Marvelous Mark Smither.
Marvelous Mark Smither pushes his record to 11-0. Let's go to the ring to hear from the winner himself.
You moved to 11-0, but that really was a war. What did you make of your performance over 8 rounds here tonight at the Pickering Casino Resort?
Yeah, I thought I had a half-decent performance, but, I wasn't expecting to chase around the ring a little bit. I was expecting more of a little inside fight from him. So, but hands off to my opponent for coming in here, and thanks for the whole crowd for coming.
And Mark, you make no secret of your love and pride for being from Barrie, Ontario, Canada, and we are very excited to announce tonight that Marvelous Mark Smither is coming to Barrie, Ontario, July 8th at the Sadlin Arena. Mark, what is it going to mean to fight at the biggest arena in your hometown?
It's amazing. I love my city. I do it for my city. This is B-Town, baby. Thanks a lot.